Welcome back, everybody, to our next segment of City Line today. I am so delighted to be joined over here on the comfy couch by Jackie Jones Hook from the Buffalo Soldiers Museum, the executive director, and Stephen Nave, a retired military first sergeant from the Armed Forces here, who's going to talk to us about the great things happening at the Buffalo Soldiers Museum. Welcome, both of you. And I have to call out, I know we don't have sock cam or shoe cam today, but Jackie's wearing great boots that I know if Amanda were here, she would have tackled her and taken those boots off of her feet and worn them herself. But my question, I guess, is, it's the Buffalo Soldiers Museum. Who were the Buffalo Soldiers?
The Buffalo Soldiers were former enslaved and freedmen who volunteered to serve the country during the Civil War. And initially, they were called the United States Colored Troops, after the Colored Bureau was established once President Lincoln brought them up to assist in the Civil War. 28 July 1866, the Army decided not to continue to use the United States Colored Troops, and they gave them the former numerical number of the 9th and the 10th. And at the time, it was the 38th, 39th, 40th, and 41st Infantries. But a couple of years later, they had to condense those 4 infantry regiments into the 24th and 25th. So now the Buffalo Soldiers were the 9th and the 10th Horse Cavalry and the 24th and the 25th Infantry regiments. And they were responsible for the expansion of the American West because the populace didn't want them in populated areas, so that began the westward expansion.
Wow. We have here our Buffalo Soldiers Museum. Jackie, would you tell us a little bit about the museum that we have here in our own community, celebrating the Buffalo Soldiers?
Yes, so we're so honored to have the Buffalo Soldiers Museum here because there's a great history of military in the area, and particularly the Buffalo Soldiers and the story, the unsung heroes who people know little about. But we're honored to have it. It was founded by an original Buffalo soldier, William Jones, who left us the building free and clear to honor these men who've served. Not only the men who served during this time period, but also today it is a place where we honor active duty military as well.
That's great.
But
Go ahead,
I have a caveat on that because what she failed to mention was that Buffalo Soldier was her father, Mr. William Jones, and he was one of the last 1,500 enlistees into the 10th Cavalry Regiment at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas back in 1941. Now he retired here at Fort Lewis and established himself in Tacoma as one of the, so Mr. Jones is the founder of the Buffalo Soldier, who is her father.
Well, Jackie, you buried the lead on that one. And these are great pictures coming through on the video of the museum itself.
And there he is.
Oh, see?
And the little girl in the picture is Jackie at 2 years old when she came back.
Little did we know we'd see you in the video of this today. This is some great footage coming through.
Yeah.
And I really think that everybody in Tacoma should probably take a visit down there and see what's going on at the Buffalo Soldiers Museum. Now,
I should also add, he was a prisoner of the Korean War, so I never got a chance to see my dad until I was 2 years old.
wow. Oh, now, the Buffalo Soldiers, how did they get their name?
So the Native Americans actually, in a form of recognition because of their hair. And so they equated the woolly hair with the Buffalo Soldiers matched the matted hair between the horns of the buffalo. So it was amazing for them to see a black man up on horseback, and that association between the buffaloes and them riding, that's how they got the name of the Buffalo Soldiers.
Interesting.
And it was almost a badge of honor because they didn't use it themselves, but the Native Americans gave it to them based upon their fighting spirit and the recognition factor.
We're just getting all kinds of facts today as we learn more and more about the Buffalo Soldiers. Now, this is a fact that you guys told me earlier, is that they're also known for being the first National Park Rangers?
Yes.
Yes. They were the first National Park Rangers in the settling of the West and protecting the settlers. They were stationed at various sites throughout the United States, and in particular here in Washington State. Fort Vancouver is one of the National Historic Park sites. And we recently got a grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services to honor national park sites here in Washington. It's a summer learning program. It's called the SEED program, that stands for Summer Excitement, Exploring and Discovery, where we take youth for a 1-week program to Fort Vancouver, Fort Lawton, Billy Frank Wildlife, the Qualachute Creek Trail, which is out at JBLM, to some of the most beautiful, scenic, historic, and military sites here in Washington State.
How do students get involved with that?
Well, they have to be connected to a youth group because we do the program, and at each of the sites, the historic residents do the actual tours, but they can contact us. Youth group leaders can contact us, and again, it's free transportation, free meals.
That's a great opportunity, and I hope people leap at that. Now, Buffalo Soldiers Museum is a nonprofit, 501c3, so you have a mission statement. What is your mission statement?
We do. Our mission statement is to educate, preserve, and present American history from 1866 to 1944. And so although we say we're the Buffalo Soldiers, we include that whole time period, 1866 to 1944, the Army, the Air Force, the Marines, and the Navy, during that segregated time for the military. It sounds strange to say that, but during the time of a segregated military. So these men fought honorably. They were considered the throwaway society, but despite that fact, they served honorably and with dignity for America in hopes of building a better America.
Wow. Now, you talked about history and teaching this history. You partner a lot with the public schools in our area. Can you talk a little bit about that program?
Yes, we are so happy to be partnered with Tacoma Public Schools because today we live in the digital generation, Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Y, Facebook. And so during this time period, 1866, the 1900s, is very, very different from today. So what the museum offers in terms of our public school tours is for students to experience lifestyles of yesterday and to recognize and see how far we've come as a society in terms of building America. And American history is required to be taught in the 5th, 8th, and 11th grade. And so more so as a community partner with public schools, we want to be a support system. We recognize our public schools are in trouble. And so we can give students, I think, an avenue, a different avenue for learning, but also using the Buffalo Soldiers as example of men, again, who were considered the throwaway society, but still did their job with dignity and integrity.
Wow. I'm so happy you are out there teaching our students that. Now, also, you connect with students, you connect with our community, but you also connect with the servicemen and women of today.
Yes.
How do you do that?
I served 29 years, and I retired here just like Mr. Jones did at JBLM. And so maintaining that link between history and the current service, because again, I was first stationed here at Fort Lewis back in 2008. And I had no idea that the museum was even established. And so now I go on post to my previous units and I talk to the command sergeant majors, and we have events out there, PX, everything else, selling counters and everything else, and just interacting with the soldiers, let them know that based upon these men, the action of these men, military service was something whereas as a minority, you could excel and advance. And so without the service of these men, a lot of minorities wouldn't be serving in today.
Wow. It's great to see you getting to go back to Fort Lewis JBLM and help spread that knowledge for that. And the fact that you were here and didn't know the Buffalo Soldiers Museum was there, that you can spread that information to them. Now, we are coming up on a very important month. Black History Month is coming up, and you have a Black History program coming up.
Yes.
And you've got props with you, I see.
We do. So excited this year for Black History Month to be partnering with the Washington State History Museum and Jennifer Kilmer and their staff. So our Black History Month program will be February the 1st, which is next Thursday. Our theme is Always Prepared, Building the Road for Equality. The time for the program will be 5:30 to 8. And it's free admission, free and open to the public. And so the program schedule is we'll have a display by Daryl Nash, one of our board members. Also this year for a little arts, music, and culture, we'll have violinist Dr. Jennifer Sullivan will be there from 5:30 to 6:30. And also we have a local black artist, Rodney King, and he will be showcasing his artwork from the 5:30 to 6:30. So come on, everyone, you certainly don't want to miss this fabulous program. And then at 6:30, we will have our speaker, very honored to have Dr. Luther Adams. Also free black man of color. He's a professor at the University of Washington, and he does history studies as well as labor studies. It's going to be a real treat, a fun evening. We will have refreshments and just a good time of art, music, and culture.
That's a great evening filled of information and entertainment and snacks.
Yes.
Now, you also have some other great events coming up, too. I understand there's a community development golf tournament coming up.
Yes, we will have our annual golf tournament this year, August the 1st, at Eagles Pride. And so we invite all of the golfers to come out and help us to celebrate. It's our annual fundraiser, a great time, a great event. So we invite the golfers and the corporations to come out to help us to fund the museum. We always can use more funding with the museum. Currently, we're only open 2 days a week, but of course, with more funding, we could hire full-time staff. So we look forward to that. Also, in partnering with the military community on Labor Day and honoring the military labor force. And again, this is a tradition that's been going on since 1910 here. And so we as the Buffalo Soldiers Museum continue to carry on this tradition of military tournaments. And so last year we hosted at Cheney Stadium, and looking forward to hosting this year. It will be on Labor Day. It's a family day, back to school day. We try to do back to school giveaways, haircuts, and just a great family time, because family is important. And often in 2024, we're often so busy we don't take the time to connect with family. And also it's a time for the military community who don't have a lot of funds and really are looking for something fun to do, and community members. We have food trucks and games.
You've got so much coming up. So mark your calendars February 1st. Check out the social media and website for Buffalo Soldiers Museum. Jackie and Stephen, thank you so much for being here today. And we will see you back shortly as we bring in Tacoma Little Theater with Marilyn and Annie and Linda and Dareth with our fun specialty cooking special coming up with the Asia Pacific Cultural Center. We'll see you back in just a few moments, everybody. Thank you.